may be fear of failure or fear of success. More frequently, it is fear of abandonment. This fear has... I said, that's Delon.
I've been a little stuck these last few chapters. I think I was gung-ho. I was about it.
You were like, I started the pages early. I crave the morning pages.
I hate you so much.
We are tired of selling stuff. It doesn't get made. And then people go, you guys are great. Why don't you act more? And we're like, you know what? Fuck y'all. We about to do this. Let me fix it. Hello and welcome back to week 9 of The Artist's Way.
Almost done. Class, I hope it's going well for you. Fran, how was your week? Tell me how your week was.
Oh my gosh, my week was really good. I was really good about the pages. I think I did 6 out of the 7 days.
Oh, good for you.
My artist date, I went back to Lemme. I went to their Friday jazz. I walked around the new exhibit in the museum. I went to the gift shop, and then I sat and listened to jazz and talked to this really lovely couple. And they were really cool. And I ran into a fan. And this woman in her 50s, and she was so cool. And we just gabbed for 30 minutes and took a picture together. And it was really, really wonderful. And I had a really productive week. I feel like my brain, I think I told you I made that Kylie Jenner supercut. That thing has 4 million views.
Wow.
I did another one that's done 5 million on TikTok. And it's just I just feel like I feel like I'm seeing the Matrix and I'm like, ooh, here's an idea. And I'm like, bleep, 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 bleep. And so it's really exciting. I feel like I've gotten over the hump where I was crying. I feel like we keep switching off crying.
I'm in a personal kind of crucible at the moment.
What do you mean by that?
I'm making a lot of discoveries. We talked about on the main version of the pod this week. The idea of acceptance, and I'm used to operating in a certain way. I'm used to showing up for friends, as the example I gave, and I wanted to do something for me or take time for me, or I made a promise to myself specifically adjacent to the Artist's Way about doing some work and catching up on work and sitting at home, and that didn't feel right because I was like, I want to go out, I want to show up for people, and that's the crucible. I was had to do some self-talk. It's okay. You can, I know you want to go, but you've made this promise to yourself. That's kind of part of the work, Delon, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm having these internal battles. A lot of the stuff that I'm writing about in my pages tends to be, I'm so grateful for the pages, as I keep saying, class, but tends to be around that. I'm waxing around a specific topic, or it keeps coming back up, which brings me to one of the tasks this week was to read. I can't read them. I can't read them. I'm going to read them. I just don't think I can do it.
So class, one of the tasks was to go through, because she tells you don't look at them as you're going, right? But she says, go back with a highlighter and highlight things that are speaking to you. You didn't do it? You stopped?
I didn't do it. I stopped. I started to read it, and I was like, that still keeps coming up, and then I just was not ready. I was not ready. And I think this is the crucible part of it. It's like I'm battling internally, and I'm looking at the things that I'm dealing with a lot more objectively. Do you know it's the difference between when you're oh, you'll know this, I'm on a diet and I'm not eating that thing, and then you eat that thing anyway, and you go, now you know we said we're not doing that thing. It's more about being able to see it. I can see you're about to take the action and buy that cupcake, and you shouldn't. And so it's that self-talk. I'm looking at all of the things, I guess a little bit more figuratively, and I'm going, okay, that acceptance is really hard. I've been in therapy for years too. I think it's also therapy. That acceptance is very hard. In therapy, the thing that I've learned is you just have to feel things. You have to learn how to feel things, because the feelings aren't going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
You just figure out how to manage the feelings, if that makes any sense.
Well, it's interesting too, because this week was all about recovering a sense of compassion. And some of the things that I highlighted seem to kind of speak to this, right? Like this says the blocked artist spends energy on self-hatred, on regret, on grief, and on jealousy. The blocked artist spends energy on self-doubt.
I hated it. Hit
This,
so fucking hard. Self
yeah.
doubt and the self hatred part of it too. I know that sounds so dramatic. That sounds so dramatic,
I mean,
but
it's a real thing.
it's a real thing. But I think that it's not like you're flagellating, and
Right.
hitting yourself, but you're
Right,
like
right.
you're looking in the mirror and you're going and you're picking at yourself and like, why isn't this that way? Why instead of loving your body as it is,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think that's a part of it. Yeah, and I highlighted that. I also highlighted the next part that she talks about,
Hmm.
which says the block artist does not know how to begin with baby steps. Instead, the block artist thinks in terms of great, big, scary, impossible tasks. A
Yeah.
novel, a feature film, a one-person show, an opera, where large, where these large tasks are not complicated or even begun. The block artist calls that laziness. That is something I say a
Mm.
lot.
Well, and I highlighted the next part. It says, "Do not call the inability to start laziness. Call it fear. Fear
Yeah.
is the true name for what ails the blocked artist. It may be fear of failure or fear of success. More frequently, it is fear of abandonment. This fear has." I said, "That's Delon. That this fear has roots in childhood reality."
Oh, I mean, and this is what I mean, right? She talks a lot about reparenting yourself in this book,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been doing that for years. And I think this is my crucible at the moment is like, oh man, this is really hard mental, emotional work. And it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy to think about being a block artist as emotional work, but because she has this excavating so much, not only in the past, but in the future, it really forces you to sit down and just be specific about what those
Yeah.
things mean to you, what happened to you, and what you would like to happen to you, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, this kind of retreads over some stuff that we talked about last week, but like the creative U-turns I felt was such like a poignant
mm,
idea. This idea that like a successful creative career is always built on successful creative failures. The trick is to survive them. It
mm,
helps to remember that even our most illustrious artists have taken creative U-turns in their time.
yes.
That was so healing to me because and Delon, I hope that this speaks to you too because both of us have been really good at those U-turns.
Oh God,
We've
yeah.
been like, "Oh, the show is ending? No problem. I'm doing this."
Yep.
"Oh, can't find a job in this industry? Guess what? I'm making a U-turn. I'm going to this one." "Okay, I'm auditioning and it's not working out. U-turn. I'm going to direct. U-turn. I'm producing my own thing. U-turn. I'm making music." Like the podcast, right? Like we've just been like, okay, okay, okay. And so maybe we didn't in the moment realize that that was a positive thing. I think it's the reframe of like a U-turn is not a failure. It's just a pivot.
Yeah, and I think I forget what episode, which chapter she said this in, but also grieving though the
It
other
was
part of
last
those
week.
U-turns.
Yeah,
That
that was last
equation,
week.
yeah, U-turn because I mean let's talk about it, Fran. We had to, right? And or
Yes.
we were interested in it, right? This thing
Mm-hmm.
wasn't serving us, so
Sure.
like we're type A people, like so let's try something else. But also grieving the show closing,
Mm-hmm.
grieving the show not going or not getting
Mm-hmm.
picked up, like as we
Mm-hmm.
said last week. That's a really big important part of it. And I think so I would offer up perhaps the U-turn happens too quickly out of necessity, but it happens too quickly and doesn't give you enough time to mourn the thing or grieve the
Mm-hmm.
thing that you were really putting a lot of yourself into, you know?
Yeah, and I think why, we say pivot a lot. I think U-turn also feels really intentional because like a pivot feels like, you're making this turn that feels incongruous with where you've come from because it's, away from it. And a U-turn feels kind of like you're following a path. And you're
Mm-hmm.
just going on that path and you're going in the direction that you're supposed to go, like a seamless loop. And there's
Yeah.
something about that. I feel like that reframe was really powerful for me.
To be what is it an analogy to death, I
Mm-hmm.
would say it's interesting to probably think about it as a rotary almost, right?
Mm.
Because like you do come back to writing, you do
Yeah.
come back to projects that
Yeah.
you've worked on that you haven't
Yeah.
completed, and you not only that, you learn from those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am such a better actor for doing over 1,500 performances on Broadway. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because I know
1,500 is crazy. I
it's
didn't know it was that many.
it's
That's
something like
and
that. It's something
that's
like that.
I mean, just that in itself is like something to really hold on to of like, yeah, I fucking did that.
I did that. I did that a lot. The My artist date has a little bit
Mm.
to do with not necessarily the jealousy that we've talked about, but I saw my friends in this show Into the Woods that was like an hour away from Boston, so I rented a car
Mm-hmm.
and I went down to support them, and I was really glad I did. It's actually a show I'm directing in the
Oh
new year, which so it
wow.
was like a great kind of like synchronistic moment.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the actors had a solo show after that he did, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to say it's pretty late, but I stayed. So glad I did.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful vocalist, beautiful storytelling, playing the guitar, and there's so much about it that I enjoyed, but I sat there in such envy. I sat there in such envy, and I was like,
Mm.
I sat there and meditated on it. I was like, you know what this is? This is saying this is something that you really want to do.
It
This is something,
is.
and you've tried and tried, and I think what did you just read about? It's something. It's not this. It's fear.
Oh, that the inability to start is not laziness, it's fear.
It's that is me to a T. I
Yes.
remember my in grad school, one of my acting teachers, now our really good friends, said to us, "Hey, what's your worst fear?" And the first thing that popped into my head was my own success. What? I never thought about that in my entire life. Why was that my first thought?
Mm.
Well, because once it's realized, well, then what? You know, once your dream
Mm-hmm.
comes true, then what? But I also think a part of it was like, you hold on to this thing so tightly. You want to be a performer, you want to be on TV, you want to be an actor, and then you get it, and then you just don't know what comes after. But I don't know. It's just really precious, and I think we hold on
Mm-hmm.
too tightly.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, and I think that was one of the things last week. Did you go back to like figuring out the North Star? Like
I
really
did,
really
I
drilling
did.
down on the thing because you're right. Like if you're holding this thing so tightly, then it does feel like, what do I do when I get it? But if you really get clear on what it is, there's always more opportunities to continue chasing that North Star. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like you get the thing, you get one thing that helps you actualize the North Star, but then there's like another thing and another thing and another thing. Like it's, it's like the actor that wins the Oscar. Like they don't then just go, okay, I'm never doing a movie again. It's kind of like,
right,
okay, I think about like a Daniel Radcliffe. Okay, you were in this huge franchise that everybody knows, your name is everywhere. Now what do? You go do a weird indie movie that like, is
you go do
like
Broadway,
you
right?
go
And
do
you're
Broadway.
nominated for a Tony. Yeah,
You
yeah,
go you're like, you know what? I'm going to go do something else now because I
right.
got to do that thing and now I get to explore and now I get to play. And I think I would just say similarly to you that like whatever that North Star is, there are many ways to find it and to keep striving for it. And I think the same way that like you reflect to me things that you want me to go for is like I want you to really just like get out of your own way. Like when I heard
Yeah.
the songs that you played for me, I was like I thought you were going to be playing a scratch track that was a work in progress. Class, this was a fully produced singing and rapping and storytelling and orchestration, and it was just so dynamic and layered and funny and smart, and it was so well done that I had a moment of like, why have you been hiding this? Like what's happening here?
That's Yeah. My really good friend Mark, who's a great musician, and he wanted to hang out, and he was like, "Hey, we could go to dinner," or he's like, "or we could do like a music share." And then I got so freaked out. And this is
Really?
what the book is saying. Oh, share some music with somebody who's like-minded, who's also, I just couldn't do it. I was like, "Yeah,
Mm.
no, I think I need to. Let's go to
Why?
dinner." I got scared. I got scared. I got scared
Now
about
here's
it
what's
not
and
being
here's
good.
here's what's interesting, Delon. What would you say to one of your students if they said this to you?
I would say something else that was said to me. If you don't put it out there, it doesn't exist. If you don't share it, it doesn't exist. Also, what's the point in creating it? Not saying it can't just be for you. It can just
Right.
be for you, but that's not my intention. My
You
intention is
have a
actually
story to tell.
to be connected, to be seen more. This young man's performance last night, he told this beautiful story about his pandemic journey, and I was like, wow, touching, funny, interesting,
It
beautifully
happened 5 minutes
sung.
ago.
Right, and he's probably 10 years younger than me.
He's
It was
like,
just really
this is
inspiring.
a story about what happened to me on Monday. It's Wednesday. And you're like, wow, damn, you putting this shit out.
Well, and you know what? The thing that I've said to you with adjacent to my music is that I did go back as we've been doing the artist way and listen to the songs, and I'm like, I've basically written 4 songs that are all the same song. Which is like, well, listen, I would say to my student, you had to get there, right? Now
Yeah.
you know what the song is.
Yeah.
But watching this young man last night, I was like, oh, this is kind of, something's kind of similar, right? It's
Yeah.
a kind of same a melodic cadence. And I was like, but he's putting it out there. He was also nervous about it. So it was inspiring in that way. I'm still
Ooh.
stuck, but I'm getting there.
Well, this is something that's related to the nervousness thing. Think of your talent as a young and skittish horse that you are bringing along. This horse is very talented, but is also young, nervous, and inexperienced. It will make mistakes, be frightened by obstacles it hasn't seen before. It may even bolt or try to throw you off or feign lameness. Your job as the creative jockey is to keep your horse moving forward and to coax it into finishing the course.
Man, you know what? Thank you for reading that. The thing that I've always admired and respected about you is Fran's going to do it. Fran says she's going to do something and she's going to get it done, right? We've talked about this Michigan story, but I forget how gagged I was when she's like, oh no, I'm leaving. She was like, oh no, goodbye. And I was like, if like, this is the who we are though. Fran's
Yeah.
like, boom, decision, bump. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what do you mean,
But
right?
you're right, that is me, but I've also circled the drain on certain things. I've had fear get in my way. I mean, I told you about this, but you might not remember. Class, I got a job to rewrite a movie script. And listen,
I do remember
I can
this.
pitch like a motherfucker. You put me in a room and I can fucking tell a story. And I went in there, the script had already been written. The studio wasn't happy with it. They asked me to come in and pitch a new take. I had never written a movie in my life. I went in there, I pitched the hell out of it. I get paid 6 figures to rewrite this script. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I have to do this.
I remember him.
And Delon, you remembered I was a wreck.
She was in it.
I was a wreck. I spent money and I took myself to this like fancy resort in Arizona, and I was like, I'm gonna lock myself away and I'm just gonna write. And I was there sitting outside by myself writing, and people were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm trying to write this movie.
Leave me alone. I'm trying to work.
I was a mess. And I really, really struggled with it, and I was really unhappy, and the studio wasn't happy, and there was a director attached who was not a writer, and I was having these long calls with him, and I was asking my agent, and I was asking my friends, and I was talking to you, and I was really, really struggling. And then the studio got bought, and they just paid me out of my deal. They were like, we're not making this. Here you go. And I was heartbroken. I was so sad about it. I really beat myself up, and I was like, I'm not a good writer. I'm this, I'm that, and blah, blah, blah. And perfect example of like, I really didn't get to heal from that experience.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fear, and a lot of fear kept me from admitting that I didn't know what I was doing, that I had kind of like talked myself into a job that I didn't necessarily know that I was prepared for. And man, I remember I was in LA for something, and I was at the Soho House, and this guy came up to me. I'd never met him before. And he was like, oh, you don't know me, but you got the job working on that script over me. And I was like, oh. And he was like, how did it go? And I was like, it's going. And I was like, I could have just fallen into the pool right in that moment. I just could have
needed that so bad. He needed to come up to you and say that so badly.
Yeah, and it really really stuck with me, and I carried that into a lot of other projects
Yeah.
where I had the job and I knew I was doing a good job, but it was like weighing in the back of my head of like, remember that time you failed? Remember that time you let everyone down? Remember that time you weren't good enough?
Oh my
You know?
God.
And so I just want to remind you that that is a natural thing that artists deal with, and that like I'm so flattered when you say that you look up to me or you're like, Fran's doing this, blah, blah, blah. But like, I want to remind you that I've had many a times that I am like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know, I'm at a party and I'm seeing, I'm at my friend's beautiful fucking 3-story house with a pool and a jacuzzi. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like, you bought this with all the stuff that you've been doing? And I'm like, I'm scraping my money together every month
But
for my
you,
apartment.
my thing is like you are doing it, and I know sometimes where like because you do have so much output and you do so many things, like you can look at your friend's house, you
Yeah.
can look at whatever and go, well, why don't I? But I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the things that we're learning in the artist way is that just the act of doing is, for right now, right,
Mm-hmm.
is what's going to get you there.
And
Like,
the small actions, right? It's like, yes,
yes,
we want the big house. You want the one person show. You want, to be on the stage or whatever. You have to take the tiny step in
yeah,
order to get there. And if you are focusing on the end result, again, you brought this up, the process, right? The
yes,
process rather than,
the product.
the product. If you're focusing on that, then you never get there. You never get
Yeah.
there. And
And you'll always be fearful because the product doesn't look like the other products you see. It doesn't look like
mhm,
your friends, or your life doesn't look exactly like theirs. And so I
mhm.
think back to what she's saying this week, right? Like those baby steps are the goal. And also the wins jar class.
Yes.
Fran's former therapist, one of them gave us this beautiful gift of a wins jar. I have mine right behind me. You see me?
Yeah.
Right there.
Anytime class you have a win, you write it down on a little sheet of paper or like a note card and you put it in that jar. And when
And then
you are struggling,
when you feel a little sad, go in there and start reading them. Let the tears just drop on the piece of paper. But like it is also celebrating those small incremental things, you know.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and giving yourself grace. I'm really trying to give myself a lot more grace. And also because I've been a little stuck. I've been a little stuck these last few chapters. I think I was gung ho. I was about
You
about
were
it.
you were like, I
Girl,
started the pages early. I crave the morning pages.
I hate you so much. That's exactly where I was like, I was out here basking in the change. I was like,
were
I
like,
feel like a new
I
woman.
never
Okay?
journaled before, but now.
Revelatory, you know? And now 7 to 9, I've been like, oh, girl, I'm waiting in the water over here. Ooh, I'm in my fifis.
Yeah, I had a few of those too.
You sure did. But I also think I I know it's a thing that I said a little bit earlier. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm
Hmm.
looking at it and I'm now saying, are you actually going to eat that cupcake? Because we said we weren't doing that anymore.
Hmm.
Or you know what the right steps are. You just have to do them. And
Yeah.
it might be I need a layup from you. I need to phone a friend,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, or whatever that is. But I think
Delon,
that's the kind of
you gotta
crucible
read
I'm in
those.
right now.
You gotta read those pages.
I'm
And
going to do
look,
it this week. I'm
you
going to do
have
it.
to, and do it with the highlighter, because I will say I haven't gone through the whole thing, but I've been going through it, and I'm seeing repeated things, kind of what you're talking about. I'm seeing, okay, there's repeated themes here. This means this is a thing I got to fucking tackle. I'm
Yeah.
tired of seeing this in multiple pages.
Yeah.
Um, and setting those incremental goals for yourself. I remember you talked about booking some time to do this one man show, and that also it can be a work in progress. It can be a
Yeah.
one act. That was the pitch that I made to you, is that you could where did I go? I went to something. Oh, I was part of a staged reading for a feature, but they only did act one and act two. And then they handed out note cards and they said, now tell us what you didn't understand. If there was something you didn't
Ah.
understand, or because they were in the middle of writing act three, and they were like, pitch us stuff. And I was like, wow, I've never seen something like this before, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
You could do something like, it doesn't have to be at a theater. It could be a salon. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
We
I
could
could do it.
just,
Somebody would do it right here in my apartment.
you could do it right there in your apartment, and you could have 10 people, and you could order pizza, and you could say, hey guys, I have these 3 songs and 2 monologues, and I just want to show them to you. And I want some feedback, but also I'm looking for collaborators. I want to get
Yeah.
this over the line. And I realize I cannot do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Can you pledge $5.99 today?
I mean, the other thing is like, I've said this before. I have to mow my lawn here. I have too many fucking things that I say yes to, and it's because I'm interested in them. It's also because like we are gig people, and I also want to work. I need the cash. I have to figure out how to. In the fall, I have a little bit of time, but listen, it happens every year. Come June, I'll be like, "Oh, I ain't got nothing on a schedule," and all of a sudden, I'm like, "I'm doing this play, I'm doing that play, I'm doing this play." It's great to be wanted, but I think I also have to what Julia would say, create a little bit of space so that you can actually answer what's inside of you.
Fill the
Answer
farm.
fill the farm.
Yeah, fill the farm. You want to
Yeah.
catch the ball, you got to throw the ball. You
Ooh.
have to say, and look, it was so funny because you and I were having this serendipitous moment where you were like, "Oh, I'm getting invited. Should I go?" Blah blah blah. I got invited to stuff, and Shamika and I are doing this web series this summer because we were like, we are tired of selling stuff. It doesn't get made, and then people go, "You guys are great. Why don't you act more?" And we're like, you know
Right.
what? Fuck y'all. We about to do this. And so we split it up. She was supposed to write 4 episodes. I was supposed to write 4 episodes. And what did I do? I said, usually I go to my writer's group on this night. I'm not going this night because I'm going to stay in. I'm going to do my shit. Oh, I got invited to a birthday party. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go to my
Yeah.
Saturday mic. I'm just going to give myself 3 days, and I'm just going to say, this is what I'm getting done.
That's what you have to do. That is just, and that's what I commend you for fucking doing. You will do that in a second, in a heartbeat. But I also think it's easier to do now that we're in the midst of the artist's way.
Gives me permission.
A permission structure, as they would say. I'm in that. I'm learning that. I'm learning. Me and No aren't great friends.
Yeah.
So anyway, class, let us know how you're doing. Let us know how your pages went. What was your artist date? And please let us know if you need encouragement, because I know that like we've both done this. We've both stopped before. Some of y'all are doing it for a second time.
Yeah.
If you're coming around and you're like, I need some encouragement, let us know so that we can gas you up a little bit.
Yeah. Thanks, class. Congratulations. You got through week 9. We'll see you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye.